What is up, everybody? It is your local Ottawa fan. I'm here today to talk about the 38-27 loss to the BC Lions. I don't have words anymore. I want to be angry. I really do. I can't help but feel apathetic. Because same story. Over and over and over and over. It's the same problems, it's the same issues, and nothing's changed. All season, nothing's changed. You cannot tell me with a straight face that Rick Campbell would do worse than this. And I'm not saying that he's the coach of the future, but I'm saying that I like Bob Dice. He's not the coach of the future. I have a very, 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 very tough time visualizing a scenario where with Condell as offensive coordinator and Bob Dice as head coach, the REDBLACKS make it to or win another Grey Cup. I have a very tough time visualizing that. And I am like the super optimistic fan. I'm the one who's always trying to find something, and I don't see it. And I'd be a lot less mad if this season was a wash because Montreal's just doing great. Hamilton's just doing great. What are you going to do? Right? All right. We're still technically in the playoff race, so we're only 2 games back. And 2 might as well be 20. Especially with only 5 games left. 2 might as well be 20. We're done. Like, let's get that out of the way. This team's not making the playoffs. And honestly, at this point, it's probably for the best. Because, you know when you break a bone, but you only partially break it? And sometimes, in order for it to heal properly, they need to fully break the bone to reset it. I think that's where we're at this point. Where winning 3 games down the stretch, winning 3 out of 5 to finish with like 7 wins against weak teams might actually, in the long term, be bad for us. And look, I'm still somebody that does believe that you should all... players and coaches and then staff and the organization should always be trying to win football games. And I believe fans almost always should be cheering. The only time I would ever kind of root for my chosen team to lose a game is if A, they are mathematically eliminated from the playoffs, and B, they might have a real shot at getting one of the top picks. Okay, yeah, sure. A loss is objectively good, but even still, in general, like, I remember the dog days for the Sens, It wasn't fun. Even when, like, Stutzel Sanderson, same draft, watching the Sens lose games, knowing that, between them and the Sharks, we're probably going to get a high draft pick. It still wasn't fun watching them lose games. It still wasn't fun watching those losses pile up. It was one of those things where in the long term, it's going to be worth it. And Stutzel and Sanderson are great. I'm so glad that they're Ottawa Senators. But you bring me back to that season, I wasn't doing the hokey pokey after every loss. Like, oh yeah, we'll do the stanky leg. We're gonna get a slightly higher draft pick potentially. Like, no, it's not fun when it's happening. It's always fun to see your team win games. Always. Ask the Cleveland Browns, the Detroit Lions that went 0-16. If they were super stoked because it meant a higher draft pick, no. A win would have been nice. A few wins would be nice. Don't get me wrong. If this team makes the playoffs, I'd be happy. I would be, honestly. Again, I've spoken on this topic a million times. Playoffs, the beauty of it is that it allows you to hope. That's why I love the playoff format. It doesn't matter how you get in, it matters that you get in. And then anything can happen. There's magic in the postseason. You could be the number 1 seed, or you could make it in by the skin of your teeth. You have a chance. That's the beauty of it. But we aren't getting a ticket to the dance this year. Let's be honest. Let's be completely candid with ourselves, especially with how the other games went this week. Toronto and Montreal both won. We're done. We're done. Maybe if Montreal lost, you could rationalize, like, well, we're still only 1 game back. We faced them twice. If Montreal lost, that would have been a win to Saskatchewan. There would have been a chance that by the time we face Saskatchewan, they've shored up 1 in the West. They have nothing to play for. Maybe we could have had a relatively easy schedule to finish off the season. But do you see what happens when we face our easy opponents? We still lose more than not. So what's left? They scored 28 points in the first half. You know what the kicker is? We scored more than them in the second half. It is the sixth consecutive game where we have outscored our opponents in the second half. We won 3 of those 6 games. 3. Every single time we outscored our opponents in the second half. We won only half of those games. What more is there to say? We actually had the best first quarter we have had since, I think, 6 games ago now. We kicked a single field goal. We got 3 points. It is the first time that we got points, plural, since, I think, July. We got 13 points in the first half, which isn't terrible. No, not the best, but not terrible. We did ourselves a little bit better. We actually got 14 in the second half. Again, not amazing, but not terrible. Put that together. 27 points. Dustin Crum had a good game. 30 for 35. A passing touchdown, right? Rushed for a few. He has a 6-game touchdown streak, the longest active touchdown streak in the CFL. Justin Hardy, Braylon Addison, both great games. Justin Hardy made a phenomenal catch in the end zone, and it just didn't matter because the game was over by halftime. It always is them playing from behind. And here's the thing, I get, there's ways you can pick apart the offense. Oh, if it wasn't for that time that Dustin Crum fumbled the ball, there was a scoop and score for BC. Oh, and then they couldn't score. They turned it over on downs late in the game because they were behind by so much. Because of the situation. Situational awareness in football, more than any other sport in football, is key. And when the situation is always, we're down by multiple scores and it's already the second half, like we have one half, we have 30 minutes to come back from a multi-score deficit, you're gonna have to play a bit more aggressive. It does close up your playbook. And if you don't play aggressive, people are going to hone in on those decisions. They're going to hone in on check down plays on second down, which I agree, bad decisions. But also, we shouldn't be in that situation where a check down play on second down is always unilaterally a bad decision. But it is, because when you're down but 17 points every game, well, I hope you're slinging it. They scored, I think, 4 consecutive touchdown drives to start the game. 4 consecutive touchdowns. We couldn't stop the run. Our secondary was nowhere to be found. I cannot remember the last time where we had like a series of passes being properly broken up. Every time it's, let's give them all the space in the world and tackle them after they've made a catch for a first down and then some. What are we doing? And when our defense does show up, our offense doesn't. And when our offense does show up, our defense doesn't. We never play 60 minutes. We never play 4 quarters. The first half, don't even tune in. Red Blacks are down by minimum 9 points. If, in fact, when we did have the comeback against BC last week, I jokingly said to a friend, oh, hey, we're only down like 10 at halftime. This is good. We might win this one. Well, proved myself right, because down 15, yeah, you can't come back from that. When you're down by 2 touchdowns every game at the half, you can't. We were down by 2 touchdowns at the half, and they got the ball to start, and then they scored again. When you're down 3 scores before you've even touched the ball in the second half, that's how you know that there's an issue, that there's a problem that needs to be fixed. And no, you can't say, well, if Dustin Crum played a great game, okay? He played a great game. His numbers speak for themselves. Oh, he got sacked a bunch because he doesn't have an O-line. Yeah, he did get sacked 7 times. And look, I'll give Drew Brown this. He is very good at throwing away the football when he's about to get sacked. That's still a waste of a down. How many sacks did we get? None. 0. Goose egg. Goose egg again. When you are getting a stat line like that, 7 sacks to 0, that is high school numbers. High school. That's the rich high school that has like 2,000 kids against a high school with 300 kids that barely has a football program. Even then, I'm not sure it would be 7 sacks to 0. Then it'd be 5 consecutive scoring drives? I mean, come on. What are we doing? What are we doing here? And now I've got to sit here and act like, oh, well, you know, maybe if we beat Montreal twice, maybe Hamilton will. So who cares? Who here thinks that there's any chance that if this team somehow does miraculously make the playoffs, let's just, for devil's advocate, you know, let's say, all right, you know, Toronto-Montreal happens, and, you know, let's say it's a draw. So we are still only, you know, 2.5 games back, and we do win out. Oh, great. Who here thinks that would even matter? Who here thinks that, like, this team would make any noise? Who here actually thinks that the Ottawa REDBLACKS could beat a healthy Tiger Cats or Rough Riders or Stampeders squad in the playoffs without weather affecting it? Oh, you beat Calgary twice. We beat Calgary twice with big asterisks. One was weather, and one was Calgary being shredded by injury. And it's like, yeah, maybe if we make the playoffs and we get the worst storm ever and we just benefit from weather, oh, sure. Yeah, maybe. And maybe I'll sprout wings. But let's go back to the real world and talk about what's realistic. This team will win maybe 5 games. If we're lucky, 6. Miss the playoffs again. And what will we do? Just say, it happens. It's injuries. Because it happens a lot to us. And a lot of other teams are injured right now. Lots of injuries. Lots of opportunity for us to take advantage of that, yet we don't. So I'm starting to get sick and tired of the excuses. And that's why I say, if they do make the playoffs, is that good for the long-term health of the team? Right? I mean, Gondel and Dice led them to the playoffs. Back-to-back seasons with a playoff appearance. It's good. Applaud that. You know, give them their flowers. Can't get rid of them. But it's now at a point where it's like, and honestly, it's everybody. Campbell, I say it for a reason. I mean, we had a successful onside kick this game and then did nothing with it. And then did nothing. After that, again, second half, it was looking like we might be able to at least make a game out of it, which I'm actually glad they didn't. I'm actually glad that we didn't do what we always do, which is go down by a bunch and then have a really strong second half where we end up losing by a close score, where we actually make it look respectable even though it wasn't. And sometimes, like with Toronto and BC last week, we actually do steal a win. We steal a win. I said last game, is this team going to show up in the first half finally? It's the same story. No secondary, no run defense, no O-line. Can't get a sack of our own. Go down by 1 million in the first half. Get a great second half. Have quarterback whose numbers actually aren't that bad. But it doesn't matter because the issues that this team has outweighs all the good that it can do. Play 4 quarters. Play 4 quarters. or don't play at all. Like, again, I wish I could blame this on Drew Brown not playing. Crum had a good game. Both games, he played well. I can't knock him. I can't say, well, if only Drew Brown was... No! Oh, my gosh. Like, yeah, I get it. You know, when we went for it on third down, we got sacked for 10 yards, but... We wouldn't have had to go for it on third down if we weren't in this situation. Oh, but the fumble... It wouldn't have been nearly as bad if we didn't give up 28 in the first half. Like, let's say we just give up a reasonable... Let's say 20, which is still a lot. But let's take a touchdown and extra point, or a 2-point conversion off the board. Let's take 8 points off the board, and it's 20-13 at the half. Right? They get 3. Okay, it's 23-13, and then they get their scoop and score. Even then, it's at least a bit better. It's at least like, oh, okay. Heck, let's just say we go into halftime tied. BC gets a good start to the second half. They get 10 points. That's a game, right? If you're down like that, you can come back in. That's the other issue. When you go in to every second half down by like 10 points, you cannot give up anything. You cannot give your opponents an inch because you're already in a hole. At the very least, if you go into the half just tied, you could give up a score or two and still it's like a game worth watching. And that's my biggest thing why I think you got to make Campbell coach. Who's watching this anymore? Who's excited to watch this team? At least there are fond memories with Rick Campbell. For the rest of the season, it might get a few more fans back to the stadium, back to TD Place, just because they remember Coach Campbell. They want to see him coach some games again. And you know what? Maybe if he can lead us to, a 6-win record, it could help breathe some life into next season. Have you seen the stands at TD Place? And it's not like the city isn't passionate. I can remember a time where every game was a sellout. But now it seems in the REDBLACKS organization, it's not the stadium that's selling out. But it does seem that maybe other people in the organization have. Because there needs to be some accountability. There needs to be some responsibility. And again, it's not like I dislike these people. I haven't met them, but they seem nice. They seem like great people. I've said it before. Paul Lapalisse, same situation. Seems like a great guy. Just wasn't the right fit. Love him on TSN. Bob Dice seems so nice. He would be like the best TSN analyst ever. I love him commenting on games week in and week out. But the experiment's over. It's time to pull the plug. Try to make it 18 fans, 17,000 fans at TD Place instead of like 13 or 15. Try to do something. I don't know, like what? I'll see you next time, I guess. Like, we are probably going to lose to Winnipeg. And even if we beat them, like, what does it do? It still keeps us a game, at minimum, a game out of playoffs with 4 to go. It's a grim situation. After all the progress made last year, flushed down the toilet, back to the same old situation. It's sad. It's pathetic. And I hope next game and next season is different. It really sucks that there's 5 games left, and I'm talking about next season. Especially in the CFL. And it's not that we're mathematically eliminated. It's that realistically, I don't see this team doing what needs to be done to get back in the race. Again, I hope they prove me wrong, but they've not proved me wrong often this season. And as always, go Ottawa, go.